everyone, my name is Marise Warner. I'm going to read from a book called The Saplings and the Ceiling. What I'm going to do is read a little bit from a few pages and that will give you an idea of what the story is about. The book will be available on Amazon from April the 7th in Kindle format as well as soft cover. A limited edition hardcover version will be available in Trinidad and Tobago once things settle down. The number you can call to order is 754-5165. There were once 3 small plants in a very large living room. They were called Rootsy, Barky and Agora. They were perhaps the luckiest indoor plants who ever lived. Helix, the caretaker, made sure that they had moist, fertile soil. The room had just enough light and carbon dioxide, and most of all, they had each other. Rootsy, Barky and Agora each had their own pot. They called their pots the Pot Posse. Then there was Ceiling. She lay there, above it all, never uttering a word to them or anyone else. Rootsy, Barky and Agora were surrounded by the Warts. The Warts were as dull as they looked. They hardly spoke at all. Still, everything was mostly wonderful until they realized that they were being attacked. It was Agora who raised the alarm late one night. "Siblings! Siblings!" she screeched. Both Rootsy and Barky ignored her. They were sure it was another of her false alarms about some distressing disaster. "It will serve you both right when it happens," she stated sullenly before she straightened her stem and turned away from them. Eventually, Agora couldn't help but shout, "Haven't you noticed? Ceiling the Smug is falling! We're about to be squashed! Pretty soon we'll be nothing but mulch!" "We're plants," Barky sniggered. "We need fertile soil, not fertile imaginations." Rootsy chuckled softly but said nothing. The next day he kept glancing upward unconsciously. The more he thought about it, the more convinced he became. Ceiling the Smug was clearly closer. Barky," Rootsy said slowly. "I think Agora may be correct. It seems like I can see Ceiling the Smug more clearly now." Barky gave Ceiling the Smug his gravest gaze. She didn't seem closer. Still, he had been hearing an odd noise of late. "Shriveling shrubs!" Barky shrieked. It was the sound of Ceiling breathing. "Calamitous cacti!" he clamored. Agora was right. Ceiling was sinking. "Barky," Rootsy whispered, hoping the Pot Posse wouldn't hear him. "I think my pot is trying to crush me. Am I being pureed into paste?" "Mine too," Agora gasped, glancing furtively at her pot. "Mine is definitely less roomy." Agora heaved heavily. "Peduncle pot, peely pot, and pithy pot are plotting planticide." Rootsy and Agora lived in fear of the mulch-making Ceiling the Smug and the compost-creating Pot Posse for some time, until the day of Barky's disturbing discovery. "The Warts are attacking us! They're closing in!" Barky yelled suddenly. "What are you going to do about it?" Rootsy, Barky demanded. "We should start with the Warts. Attack them now," Barky said. "Get them before they get us. Throw everything we have in our pots at them. Soil, water, fertilizer. Aim for the eyes. Once we blind them, we can." Agora harumphed heatedly. "And what happens after we waste all our soil, water and fertilizer? What will our roots hold on to? How will they keep us upright?" she asked. "This is no time to be thinking about the future," Barky scoffed. "That's for later." "How will we save ourselves if we destroy ourselves?" Agora questioned querulously. "Who needs soil?" Barky sniped snortily. "I've got my trunk to keep me sturdy and my crown to keep me steady." "Oh yeah," Agora snapped. "And without nutrients, what's going to keep you healthy?" "Shh, you two," Rootsy ordered. Then he shook out his leaves, straightened his stem, focused upwards, and addressed Ceiling the Smug. "Listen here, Ceiling the Smug. What do you mean by trying to squash us?" He paused for a moment. "Or Are you slipping by accident? No one was prepared for Sealing the Smug's first word. All three plants almost jumped out of their pots when they heard her voice. It's all out war, Barky bellowed belligerently. They're about to bomb us to brittle, crush us to crumbs, shell us to shreds, club us to clumps. I haven't budged, Sealing the Smug proclaimed. I'm not moving. You are. No, Rootsy said. He scanned his leaves and stem. Pretty sure we're in the same spot. Your pots are in the same spot, but parts of you are not, Sealing the Smug insisted. Barky bristled breathily. We've had enough, you broad bit of board. You'd better brace yourself, brute. A sudden gust of air zapped the plants. They froze, but Sealing had only exhaled in exasperation. I'm not falling. You're growing, and at a rapid pace. You're in the same place, but you're taking up more space. Taking up more space? Barky barked. You're the one doing that, you flat, rhymy brat. Agora cringed as if she had been singed. Rootsy's stem twinged, and Barky, he just whinged about Sealing being unhinged. Sealing the Smug simply chuckled cheerily as though she knew some secret joke. Never mind the unkind, she said. They're that way inclined because they are far behind. Sealing's chuckle grew into a chilling chortle. You won't like what you find when you're no longer blind and can't rewind, she warned Barky. So, Miss Sealing, Rootsy continued, you were telling us what's happening to... Listen, Sealing lectured. All of you are growing as you should. Barky, you're supposed to be wide and stretched to the side. Rootsy, you have lots of roots and will one day have the most fruit. Agora, you've begun to flower and will become a tower once. A chorus of yapping yowls interrupted Sealing the Smug. It was the Warts wailing in wall waffle and wall warble. Were they cheering or jeering? No one could tell. Didn't you hear me? I said you are growing, Sealing said. That's what plants do. Do you understand what that means? Growing? Agora disputed dubiously. All of us? But I'm the only one who's too tall. Pay attention to yourselves, Sealing instructed. All of you are growing taller, but each of you is growing differently. Agora, you're growing much higher. Rootsy, your roots are growing much thicker and deeper. Barky, you're growing wider. With Sealing's warning about his wider width, Barky went wearisomely waspish. The warts are closing in on me, he blared blusteringly. They're trying to poison me. That's what warts do. Wally wall, wily wall, willy wall, and woolly wall want to whittle us to weeds. We'll wallop those weasels into woeful waste. Sealing gave another exasperated sigh. Our job is to give you a safe and comfortable place to grow until it's time. Time for what? Barky inquired inquisitively. You have outgrown your first home, Sealing the Smug answered. It's time to venture into the unknown. Venture into the unknown, Agora yelped. The unknown what? A new pot? No, Agora, Rootsy explained. She's saying it's time for us to be pot-free and let ourselves be. Let yourselves be outside, Sealing said. But we've never lived outside, Agora moaned mistrustfully. I'm not going. I'm staying here where I'm safe. I'm going to bend my stem and grow towards the floor. Then you won't grow, Sealing said. You'll be bigger you think, but you'll actually shrink. We'll stay with you, Agora Rootsy promised. Won't we, Barky? You won't help her if you stay inside, Sealing advised. You'll just hurt yourselves. Agora, Rootsy pleaded plaintively. Sealing is right. Sealing is right. Please come with us, please. For a few months, Agora did just what she had threatened to do. Instead of going towards Sealing the Smug, Agora doubled over and reached towards the floor. Eventually, Calyx the caretaker installed the curtain because he thought the room was too bright for Agora. Agora, however, found another use for the curtain. She persuaded her peduncle Pot, to shift her behind the curtain so she could hide. The more you try to hide, the more likely you'll be spied, Ceiling warned wearily. Even if Calyx the caretaker finds me, I am not going! I am not going! I'm going to keep growing towards the floor instead of you, Ceiling. I'll be safer that way. You'll be going towards the floor, Ceiling said, but you won't be growing. You're meant to grow upward, not go downward. Thanks very much for listening. If you want to find out what happens to Rootsy, Barky and Agora, the book is available on Amazon, or you can call 754-5165. Bye!